Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome to Transport Fever 2. Welcome to the tropics, I should add, because this is one of the tropic maps that I have randomly generated for Transport Fever 2. I really like this new addition because the tropics allow so many more opportunities for ships. And as you can see, I have generated a lot of smaller islands. There is what the game considers mainland, and that is this, New Haven, and Concord's island. Aside from that, it is all islands, which means ships, 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 and more ships. And ships generally don't travel very quickly, but they are very profitable, or can be. So let's see what I can come up with. Now let's see where there are the low-hanging fruit opportunities. I'd say in Concord. Concord is not the biggest town, but it is pretty easy to provide with food. Because I can get the food from the farm over here, ship it to the food processing plant, and send it back to Concord. Now, important thing to know in Transport Fever 2 as opposed to 1 is that you get an ideal overview of how towns are projected to grow. As you can see, currently the town has 151 residents. However, that is projected to go down to only 70. Because the town is shrinking thanks to very poor traffic, which means that the people in this town pretty much have nowhere to go. Which is accurate because there is nothing on their island. And of course this is not exactly helping their ability to find work. So the town is going to shrink. And I am kind of afraid that that's going to happen for most towns. This one's currently at 237 but projected to go to 197. Abilene projected to go down to 52 only. Oh damn, we're gonna have to fix this. Boise, projected to go to 32. The traffic company, or a transport company that I'm setting up, is going to be paramount over here. Just to try and keep these towns from shrinking. Now if I want to, I can build bridges. You can already see one here. It is 1950 by the way. I'm going to change the date speed from 1 to, let's do a fourth. Actually, no, that's a bit slow. A half. So the days are not going to be passing by as quickly, which means I won't get new vehicles as quickly. Now, St. Paul could be another interesting opportunity for food. Simply from here to there to St. Paul. I probably would not be using a train because it might be too hard to line that one up. Although maybe I can fit the train in there, right on the edge of it. Container terminus station. So that would go over here. Yeah, that does connect with the train station, or with the train. No, sorry, with the farm. Yep. All right, let's start building right away. It's going to be a pretty short hop from here to here. Main reason that I'm taking a train is that a train can simply transport a hell of a lot more. And food is not just generated on a one-to-one basis. No, you need two units of grain to get 1 unit of food. So it's going to be a little bit more work to get the food over to St. Paul's because I will need a double amount of transport over here. Next one is a cargo station. I think we're going to be transporting this stuff right across the beach here. But so be it. Let's go for 2 tracks. Which is pretty expensive, but I have 30 million to work with. Very important not to accidentally go on the farmland over here and remove it, because that is expensive. See, if I go through it, it's suddenly going to cost me 225,000. Which is a lot of money, and I don't want to spend that much. Alright, this one connects to here. To that point. And now I need a drop-off point in St. Paul. I don't really need to make this a passenger hub, because I wouldn't really have ways of transporting people anyway. The only way of transporting people off of this island would be currently by bus, starting in St. Paul, following the bus, the road all the way north, north, north. It's going to be a trip of a couple of months, but eventually you'd end up in Thornton. Hell of a trip, though. which I'm not too interested in providing, at least not yet. Maybe later. And I'm also hoping that I'm going to get quite a few opportunities for planes, because that is something else that this landscape more or less supports. Because by using planes, you can of course bypass the whole, oh shit, that's a hell of a distance problem. Now I'm going for standard track. The reason for this is that I don't exactly expect the trains to be going to achieve their high speed. Potentially their high speed. So standard tracks for the moment should be enough. And connect that here. Alright, couple of signals. In case you don't exactly know how the signals work, I have a signals tutorial. Link down below in the description. The basic summary: if you add signals to your tracks, you can have more trains running on them. And that's exactly what I want to have. I want to have more trains running on this line. Alright, we're going to start over here in St. Paul. We're going to move to lower St. Paul and end up in St. Paul transfer. This is the St. Paul food supply. Now we drop it off here. And using the layer system up here on the top left, I can select the cargo type and see what they need. Now apparently this station already provides to quite a few houses, but not all of them. There's a mix of commercial and residential buildings that I'm not covering. So you can see that this is the industrial area, this is the commercial area, and this is just the residential area. Right, so I would need to run probably one food truck. That is, set up a truck station. Yes, you can go. Set up a truck station here. Maybe here would be easier to also be able to tie it into a shipyard, which I might, or a dock, which I might set up there. And then drop off using the new truck unload stop. Previously in Transport Fever 1, you could do all of this stuff simply by using a bus stop. Now you have a distinction, a small truck unload. So that's going to go there, and that should be enough. This is going to transport it from the truck stop to St. Paul. And this is the St. Paul food truck. Okay, vehicle time. Road depot. Somewhere where it's not too much in the way. So over there. And let's, for the moment, assign a couple trucks. Cargo trucks. These carry 14 units. Yeah, let's go for 2. How much does St. Paul need? Probably not too much. 88. Okay. It's doing this again. Sometimes the game seems to think that the W and the A key are stuck. Because now I'm not quite... There we go. Not quite able to get rid of that. I hope they patch that out real soon, because it's quite a nuisance. Okay, so where were we? Where were my lines? Here. And I had the camera set up like this. Okay, so we got the food trucks. Now I still need to add a depot for the trains. I'm going to make sure that the train depot orients in that direction. Because that's the direction that I need the trains to head in first to pick up the grain. So throw on an additional track. Just start here then. Like that. A train, what can we buy? I prefer electric, but I'm not sure if I... Yeah, I have catenary, so I do have electric on this line. Electric vehicles tend to be exceptionally expensive. Now, something else that is a new factor in this game is emission. You cannot just go... Well, you can. You can go for diesel, which currently still have a low emission. Steam, burning coal, actually have a pretty high emission value. 74, 72, 76 on the 442 Atlantic. Electric, not so much, only 68. And diesel is set to 68 and 69. I think the Elco HH600... might be what I need. Tractive capacity of 125 kilonewtons. These things have far more. But I'd rather have a steady supply. So just have probably 2 Elcos with a couple of cargo supplies. And I'm transporting grain. These can transport 18, but they cannot transport food. You could also pick a boxcar. Some of them have capacity for all cargo, but that's apparently no longer in the cards. So I'm going to have to make a choice. In that case, I think I'm going to go for a couple of gondolas. Because these carry 18. So 2 gondolas. And... oh, I just added tank cars. My bad. 2 gondolas. That's for the grain. And then this one's for the food. So I got 36 grain, which gets translated into 18 food. And now I have a capacity of 54. The train's going to cost me 5 million. Let's just start with this. Get it going. And see where we end up. Because for the moment, I don't want to spend too much on this one line. I want to keep most of the towns alive, instead of just having them all die out at once. Okay, so that's a route for St. Paul. What can we do here? Carrollton. Carrollton looks to be desiring fuel. Fortunately, they have a fuel refinery, which takes oil. I can produce oil over here. But I need crude. Oh dear. Where is the crude? The crude is not anywhere near. There's none on this island. There's none on this island. Nothing here. Nothing there. Here. The Nashville oil well. That would be the closest transport opportunity I would have. That's a hell of a range to ship. From all the way over here to here. And then from here to there. And then from there to Carrollton. Yeah, that might be a bit much. Okay. Different approach. What are the biggest towns and can I connect those together? St. Paul's pretty big. Stamford, on the other side of the map, is also pretty sizable. But not really close. Erie. I could connect Erie and Stamford together by using ships. And then have both a tram in Stamford and an Erie. Let's do that. So let's set up a passenger harbor. Not too close to the main area. But I do want it over here. Because one very, very neat thing that you can do right now is customize your docks. So I can, if at some point I will require that, and I'm just going to do that right now, I can have a main building and attach that here for 50,000. And now I can also use this as a cargo port, which is going to be very handy in case I ever want to use that steel mill. These things are not too expensive, fortunately. So there, now I also have a cargo port. I don't have any cargo slots yet. So for that, I would need a cargo dock. And currently, I can put one here. And then I would also have a cargo dock. You can also put one there, but don't ask me how the ships are going to approach that part. Another neat feature is that you can follow the arrows here. So over here, I could have a dock, and then I could throw one on another one, and another one, and another one. You can make one large line, sort of a pier. For the moment, I don't need that. I just want to make sure that the game doesn't accidentally reserve this space. But there is one bit of a problem. This road doesn't go anywhere. So that was a bit more expensive than I was hoping. But I don't think it could be helped. I want a tram line on here. Like that. And I need to be upgrading a couple of parts. Because I want tram tracks over here. Okay. Into town through here. Make a bit of a loop. And go back. That's the plan. That will also require a tram stop. Like that. And again, to make sure that I can eventually use this area for a truck stop as well, I can add a cargo platform right here. So now I also have a cargo platform. It is much more for future expansion than that I really need it right now. but you never know quite how this town is going to develop and how aggressive it's going to be in its ability to absorb additional terrain. I don't really want the town to be absorbing the terrain that I might need for my future expansion plans of that port. Alright, streets. I was intentionally not planning on expanding this way, but I think the town will expand this way. Now there could be a very interesting opportunity here to not bring stuff to Stamford, but to ship it from Stamford. Because I can bring ore and coal to this steel mill. And then from a steel mill I can ship it to another facility, which naturally happens to be somewhere else. Like all the way over here. And if I then also add plastic, I could make goods. It's a hell of a long way. But that seems to be the main problem of this map. Okay then, tram line. I'm going to start it over here. First I'm going to do a clockwise line. And Lincoln again. This is the Stamford clockwise. And then I'm going to have another one that goes in the opposite direction. Oh, whoops. This one first. Then a third street, and then the other way around. Did I just set up... I set up the same route twice. Well done, Stealth. Let's try that again. Here. There. There we go. That's better. Okay. Stamford, counterclockwise. Reason that I'm always setting up 2 tram lines. Sometimes you have a passenger that's over here, and that just needs to go there. If I would only have one line, this passenger would sit in here and go all the merry way around town until he gets to this stop. And that would keep that seat reserved for eternity. By doing it this way, if he is over here and he needs to go there, he can take 1 tram stop and that's enough. So generally that makes the trams a little easier to use, in my experience. No, I don't need that. I need a tram stop. Tram depot. And to make sure that I can reach that, I also need to do this. Buy vehicles. We got the Peter Witt streetcar and the Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh being slightly faster by 10 kilometers and only having 1 person more. These things are 214 a year, or 214 once and 35 per year, and these are 47 per year. No, thank you. I'll just take this one, and I'll take another one. Right, so that's the Stamford connection set. Now I need to do the same thing in Erie. Let's put the dock down, well, here, I guess, where I still have some room. I'm going to go once again for a passenger port. And immediately upgrade it to also have a cargo terminal, or at least a cargo building. Then a tram station. And upgrade that to also have a cargo station. Again, all of this is for future expansion, and in the future I can make this as large as I want. If I want to have another terminal, I can do that. And I can just keep expanding all the way into this seemingly jungle area. Alright, bus stops set, or tram stops set. Now the stops. Nice and circular town over here. I can make perfect use of that with another couple of trams. And that's the stop set. I'm really wondering how this playthrough is going to go. If my towns are actually going to die out, because they very well might. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point I might just run out of towns. Not that they die out entirely, but it is definitely a very real concern. Yeah, let's go for a slightly bigger access road, because I might need that in the future. Something else that's pretty neat. You can configure this, and you can have an exit road over here. So I could have the trams come in from one side and then move out the other. Or you can just go for a standard exit point. Which is what I'm going to do now to make it easier to connect these two together. There. Gives you two ways to enter and exit. Alright then, Erie. Same procedure. A clockwise and a counterclockwise. Starting here. This is the counterclockwise. Erie counterclockwise. And this is the Erie clockwise. Tram station. I can probably fit that in here without causing too many issues in the future. And again, go for the cheapest tram that I currently have available. One on the counterclockwise. Oh, I'm missing electric tracks. To where? Oh, this bit maybe. Let's see. The upgrade tool. Yep. I'm missing them on this bit. And this part. I think that concludes it. Let's see if the tram can now be linked. Yep, now it works. Okay. Another one. Erie clockwise. So now we have the tram set up. These are going to be feeding the ports. Now all I need is a shipyard. Alright. Shipyard set. What can we buy for passenger ships? They're not going to be fast. 30 kilometers an hour only. 32. These all require small docks, except the Klondike. Klondike needs a big dock, which I don't have. So that is immediately disqualified. These are running for 284,000 a year. These for 246,000 a year. I'll take one of these. And yes, I do need to set up the line first. Starting over here and going all the way over there. And this is Erie, Stamford. Oh, I wrote Erie. It's not Erie, it's just Erie. Alright, I'm also going to set up a shipyard over here to make sure that I always have a shipyard close. And just to make it easy, because I can now buy a vehicle, another Schaffhausen, and set that up on the Erie-Stamford line. So this one's going to start here, and the other one's going to start there. If you launch all your ships at the same time from the same dock, they're all going to be sailing in one line, which is not what I want. Alright, let's kick off the game. Speed to very fast, although with the date and time reduced, it's going to take a little bit longer. I might not make profit this first year, but I do at least have some customers. The counterclockwise line already has a couple of passengers. And what I really like about this new setup is that you can see the destinations. I can see that people from Erie want to go to Erie to shop and work. But we also have quite a few who want to go to Stamford to shop and work. So I know that there's at least going to be quite a bit of demand for my ship. And potentially also for the tram. Hold up. That was a weird thing you pulled there. I want to add the station. Ah, I only put down one stop. That's my mistake. Because this tram was doing a sort of circular movement. No, that's replace. Tram, Erie counterclockwise, configure line. That needs to be stop number 5. There, that's better. The other tram line seems to be doing fine. Okay, let's see how the passengers are being received in Stamford. And oh yes, in Stamford they also really want to go. Lots of clockwise transport and a couple of counterclockwise. So we're probably going to be seeing quite a few passengers up here, awaiting in the dock. And look at that. We started out with 305, or actually with 239. And thanks to the transportation going up, the public transport that is, I'm going to be growing this to 358. And judging by the amount of passengers waiting here, I'm going to need at least 2 more trams on each line. So 2 on Stamford. And 2 on the alternative Stamford line. Here's the first ship, currently coming empty, which is to be expected because it came from the shipyard. This one is going to be trespassing, yeah right, transporting 11 passengers, and there are already 37 people here. Okay, good start. Let's see how the food is doing. All the way over here. Lots and lots of grain is awaiting pickup. The train currently is running a severe deficit of almost 300,000. But that is to be expected because the rail line still needs to start up. And I'm probably just not using this thing enough. I need to add probably many more cars to this. At least there is some food. So the food is going to get transported here, at which point these trucks are also going to start to make money. That made me 121,000. Transporting just 36 units of grain. And here comes the food. And that was another 75,000, I think. Still, how much does it affect it? It does affect it. It's growing slowly, going up by 10%. Now, time to add more onto this train, because I think its standard running costs are just way too high. So go back into your depot and let's adjust the vehicle. Probably just double the load, maybe even triple it. Adjust. Pause it for a second, otherwise I'm going to be losing out on time. I'll take 1, 2, 3, 4. Trains already has a length of 131 and 2 boxcars. That's another 7 million. Hopefully I can still make profit with this. This thing now has a running cost of 1.7 million a year. That's going to be very expensive. Now, everything gets loaded on. 108 units of grain. There is a little bit of food waiting here, but only 10 units at this point, because the train was temporarily taken out of commission. There is not a lot of food waiting. Let's see how much this makes. 365,000. And I take on 12 food. To be expected. Now, this one is going to be producing stuff like crazy, because it's suddenly got a whole lot more grain. And you can see the production and shipping are going to go up. Production likely faster than shipping, because the train is going to take a bit of time to get there. There's another 50. Yeah, I just need to let this unit run for quite a while. But at the very least, St. Paul is not dying. At least not of hunger. They're going to be continuing to get food and continuing to grow. Now let's see about the shipyards. Here's a ship with 54 passengers already, and this one's carrying 41. Still running a deficit, but if I add another ship, I think that both ships are going to be more profitable. That might sound a little weird, but the frequency of the ships, so the frequency of transport available, is also quite important. Imagine if you had a bus that only hit your town twice a day. In that case, you're probably not too interested in taking the bus. Or taking public transport in the first place. But if that bus arrives every 15 minutes, which is a dramatic improvement, you're going to probably take it more often. You're going to make more use of it. Same thing goes for the people over here in Transport Fever 2. This ship actually is already running a profit, if only a meager one. And probably will be negative by the time that it gets to its destination. I think I could also up the demand in Erie by adding a couple more trams. So let's add 2 more. 2 on Erie counterclockwise. And 2 on Erie clockwise. So now I have 3 trams on each line, 2 ships, and using the line statistics, bottom right hand side, I can see how much money these lines are making me. Currently the food supply is running a massive deficit, 600,000, but it's still spooling up. So I'm not really surprised. Lots of people waiting here for the clockwise line, interestingly. Where are all my clockwise vehicles? Here's one. There's another one. And where's the third one then? Tram 4 over here. Clockwise. Let's counterclock. Counterclock. Yeah, they're running a little light. 85 people waiting here. 87, 90. There's more people coming in, but if they don't run, they might miss the ship. Yep, sorry, you missed it. 93 people currently on board, and the ship is actually profitable. In fact, the whole line is profitable by 256,000 a year. I'm gonna build another ship. Might be a little fast, but I'm gonna do it anyway. So this is Transport Fever 2. I am sinking a lot of time into this game. I'm really, really liking it. Sure enough, it's similar to Transport Fever 1. You can call it very similar or extremely similar. But it does have a couple of very nice quality of life improvements. And those are what make the game good. Unfortunately, you guys missed the ship. But now the wait time should be even less. Yeah, it's now 4 minutes. And you can see that there are more and more people coming into the dockyard here. Probably another tram filled with people, all moving from the tram towards the dock. And another ship is about to come in with 36 people only. We have 113 waiting over here. That's almost a full hull, because the ship can do 130 people. If you guys hurry, you might get there in time. Look at that. Crowd in a train. Have a train filled with at least 100 passengers. Yes, game, but unfortunately this is not a train. This is a ship. So I just got an achievement for a train line on a ship line. Alright, let's just roll with it. I think I might need to do something about this food supply line, because it's currently only costing me money. Maybe I just need to replace it with trucks. Alright, but I'll do that in another episode. For now, I hope you enjoy the start of this playthrough. I'm not sure how many episodes it's going to have. That's going to depend a little bit on the reception, on how many views it gets and how much you guys like this. I really like the game. I would like to cover it, but if it barely gets any views, then, well, YouTube-wise, my attention is better spent elsewhere. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you soon for more Transport Fever 2.